Hey, what's happening? Benton here. I see some comments. Is that Music Holds a Secret? I believe. Good to see you, sir. You're still around. Checking out the live chat. Had some delays in going live today. So my apologies for. I think I set the. I kept extending the time that the live stream was going to begin, and then at one point I know I was actually late. I think I had it set for 3:45, and it was like four something. So that's unlike me. So my apologies. What movie? What movie are we talking about? Musical's a secret. Let me see if I can read your comments. For some reason, the actual on the YouTube live chat before, if you don't go live yet, it just like deletes uh, the comments. You get the dreams you desire. Slumberland. Okay, I've never seen that. Maybe I'll check that out if I ever get my new computer. Hey, what's up, Fake Defunct? Good to see you. Welcome everybody. Well, the nightmare dystopia continues with respect to Amazon. So I was looking on Amazon site, and there's an Amazon locker. I'm headed towards Arizona, by the way, headed west. So I was looking at these computers, and for those who may not know, I ordered a one of these mini PCs from Amazon. It was $299, but it had a $50 coupon. And I already have the keyboard and mouse and the LCD screen. I'm just waiting for the actual computer. It was supposed to be delivered Thursday when I was in Dallas, Fort Worth, and I'm pretty sure that what happened is when it arrived at the warehouse in the Dallas, Fort Worth area, it's a pocket-sized computer, and someone put it in their pocket, which is most likely what happened. So instead of just giving me my money back, for some reason, Amazon decided to then have UPS ship out a replacement that was scheduled to be delivered later today, except I'm not going to be there to receive it. And I've told Amazon that. But then, because it is a nightmare dystopia, the days of just being one human being being able to convey a message to another human being, that's over with, obviously. Which I accept. I understand that this is the way things are on some level. Shout out to Tranquil Vortex, by the way. Good to see you. So I understand that's the way things are on some level. And I have enough money to just go ahead and order another computer. So that's what I was attempting to do right before I started the live stream. When I stopped for fuel, I found a parking spot. I went inside the truck stop. And Amazon used to have gift cards that went all the way up to $500. And every once in a while, I see one of these. So, but the ones that this particular truck stop had, they go up to $200. You can specify an amount. So I got two of these because I needed to load somewhere around, actually $330. There's your 33 code. Because I'm actually getting a different model of computer, and I'll explain why here in a moment. So I go up to the cash register. I give $200. The first card, everything works perfectly. But when the guy tries to ring up the second card, with my $140 I'd given him, because I couldn't remember the exact amount I needed to load, so I said, 140. And the computer system said declined. Well, these bozos behind the counter, they're behaving as if my credit card is declined or my debit card. So I'm just like, hey, do you want me to go get a different card off the shelf? Because it's like, maybe there's something wrong with that card. Although I knew that was very unlikely. So finally, the people figure out, okay, yeah, I can just go get another one. Of course, that one, the same thing happens. I'm thinking maybe they've had people pull scams. Maybe people that work there have just, some drug addict or something has just like loaded, that work there has probably just loaded a bunch of cards, in a row. So I think when it got to the second transaction in a row, the system just kicked it out and said, no, we're not going to do this, right? So now it looks like I'm probably going to have to stop at a different truck stop. All of this just to get my product that I should have received on Thursday, because all of this, by the way, because most likely a human being, a monkey, came across a shiny object and just had to have it, right? That's probably what happened. Because I noticed on the tracking that this computer was shipped to Texas from Pennsylvania, so presumably that warehouse did not have that particular item in stock. So some nerd probably was like, oh, okay, this is a shiny toy. I'll just take this home with me. Now, I'm assuming that Amazon, they have some sort of, maybe they check people on the way out, but, security is lax in the best of times, right? Well, so then when I'm willing to just go ahead, and I know to go ahead and just buy gift cards, because the problem is if I order with my debit card, if something goes wrong by the time, and Amazon still hasn't refunded my money, by the way, but if something goes wrong by the time Amazon gets around to issuing me a refund, I still have to wait like 5 to 10 business days to receive the money through my debit card sometimes. So if I have it on a gift card, at least then when Amazon processes the refund, I get it right back onto my Amazon balance. And I buy enough things on Amazon that it's as good as cash for me. So, I mean, what is this, right? It's a nightmare dystopia, but hey, at least I can buy a computer, for very affordably. So, if they can ever actually get it to me. What's up, Robin? Good to see you. Shout out to the chat. And so by the time I went to go get this same model of computer, well, of course, they no longer have the $50 coupon. Well, but I did find a different model. Actually, a silver lining appears. If I ever actually manage to load the money onto my account and get this thing ordered today, and if it actually appears at the Amazon locker tomorrow and I manage to receive it, then I'm actually going to end up with a better model for my money. So I'm paying more money overall, but it's going to be better. So it's got double the memory and double the disk space and a faster processor. So funny how that works. But boy, they're putting me through the fire to get this thing, man. This is just crazy. And I just got off the phone with Amazon. And of course, the lady who is this nice lady that she's going to help me, but dude, they just have to go through their whole spiel. So I'm just patiently waiting while she just talks for 10 minutes, telling me things I already know, And I'm just like laughing to myself about the whole thing, I guess I'll stop up here west of Abilene. That'll be just about mealtime anyway. So it's not too much of an inconvenience, but I mean, good Lord. And by the way, do you folks see why I initially pieced out of the beast system as much as was possible? Why I left the workforce and just became homeless and lived out of a backpack? I mean, everything I'm telling you is I was, 12 to 15 years ago, the version of Benton that existed back then was way less able to deal with this stuff. Like, I'm already kind of on the verge of being a little irritated and annoyed. I'm sure you guys can hear that in my voice, but I do find it humorous on some level because I do more or less expect to be treated this way. But 15 years ago, this would have been 10 fucking tantrums in a row. Like, I would have gone from 0 to 10 on the anger scale fucking 7 different times over this. I would have just been losing my fucking mind, right? So I've certainly evolved over time. So now I mostly find it funny, although certainly it's also annoying at the same time. Yeah, that's the thing is that they're forcing you into Prime, but then also, and see, Musical is a secret. Since I do have Prime, there's certain items you have to have Prime to buy that item. But if you really pay attention, what they started doing to me is, because I was actually paying for shipping, because I needed to get these items delivered to certain lockers at a certain time, so I was paying like $11 shipping a lot of the time. So what started happening to me was that they started, whenever I would check out, they said, hey, we're going to give you a trial of Prime for $1.99 for a week. So I'm like, well, okay. So now I'm saving enough on shipping. I'm like, okay, sure, why not? So maybe if you pay attention, you might be able to go in there and it might offer you a trial where you can, and then you can just cancel it after you receive your order. I mean, dude, it's just crazy. But I've noticed that, like, since I have Prime, there's certain items where they'll only sell it to someone with Amazon Prime, and there's other items where it's like if you have Prime, you get a special price. Like I ordered this, like some of these lightning deals are Prime only. So over the course of a year, if you use, and I'm not trying to sell it to you, I'm just saying, like, and if you actually use the Amazon Prime Video, see, I don't even use that shit at all, right? But it's worth it to me because I order enough items every month where, like, I'm spending way more than $15 in shipping anyway. But dude, I feel you. I never wanted that bullshit either, especially when I was just more or less in one area. With me traveling around for work, it makes sense for me to do it. But I feel you on that. You can tell when they're trying to force you into it. I mean, you definitely feel forced, or I do anyway. So I certainly sympathize there. And I'm resistant anytime I feel like, oh, the app is trying to force me to do something I don't want to do. Then I usually just, I'm like, well, fuck that. I'm not doing that. And if I ever, now that I'm starting to have more time off from work, I guess I'm just going to have to go ahead and get a UPS store. And then I'll just have everything sent there. And then I won't even necessarily have to use Amazon. And I won't have to have Prime. Yeah, fuck Prime. Yeah, that's the thing is, Robin, if you have an actual house, and this is a good point. Well, wait a minute. Hey, is that JG? Did I see JG in the chat? That might be Music Holds a Secret. Might have just changed his deal there. Hang on, I'm on. That's what it is. I'm on top messages instead of all messages. Somebody deleted a comment, I think. But yeah, what was this? Robin, I've noticed if you live anywhere near an actual city and you just live in a house, if you do the free shipping, it almost always gets there quicker than they say it will. So you're right. You probably do basically get the Amazon Prime shipping times over. I bet if you average it out, it's pretty fucking close. So yeah, it's a scam. Prime, and now some people actually want the Amazon Prime Video, right? And there are, and if somebody's on, actually on, if they're on food stamps or if they're a student, and if you can pay for the whole year in advance, like, it's a pretty good deal actually. But if you actually pay by the month like I do, it's not a very good deal. It works for me because when I'm in Dallas, I can get stuff the same day, So if I do that enough times in a month, it pays for itself. So that's how that works. But I feel you on that. Yeah, if you just live in a house anywhere near an actual city, just do the free shipping. You'll get it way quicker than they tell you will. And I think they'll tell you, oh, it's going to be 5 days, and then oh well, better get Amazon Prime. Except if you just actually order it, it shows up in like 2 to 3 days. Yeah, it's hilarious. Oh, that is. Oh, shout out to JG. Well, JG, I don't care if you're a Satanist. That's fine. Be a Satanist. I don't share your beliefs, but yeah, that's up to you, buddy. And what is it? By the way, that's biblical if you think about it, JG, because the Bible talks about it's the lukewarm will be spit out of the mouth. That it's more, the Bible more or less. My interpretation of the Bible more or less says, look, if you're going to be wicked, be all the way wicked. Because if you're trying to LARP like you're submitted to God, but you're actually lukewarm, then that's kind of worse. The Bible implies that God actually respects somebody who's just wicked all the way versus somebody who wants to be wicked but then try to claim to be righteous. So yeah, maybe you're onto something. Because we all fall short, right? Supposedly. I don't think the Bible's divine, JG. I never said that, but it's not a Bible channel, and I can't allow you to derail the combo here, but that's good stuff you're posting. I do, and it's good to see you around, sir. Good to see you. But yeah, I don't know if maybe that's enough of an Amazon rant. And they almost tricked me into buying a computer. Since I haven't really kept up with computer hardware, I almost got tricked into buying one that did have the $50 coupon. But I got to thinking, I said, well, shit, I've never really heard of this processor, but it was on the same page of the computer I was trying to buy, the one I did buy, but they weren't unable to deliver to me. So I said, well, wait a minute, I better figure out, I better Google this processor, and it turns out it's a piece of garbage. So the silver lining is because I persisted through since I patiently persisted through all these trials and tribulations. First world problems, by the way. But since I persisted, now I'm being rewarded with double the memory, double the disk space, and a faster processor for not a whole lot more money. So, and if they actually deliver it tomorrow, then I believe I'll have time to, if not tomorrow, then the next day to actually get this thing configured. And then I can play some streams like I want to do. I can respond. I can play some live streams and respond to them, which I think if I ever have content blow up, which I only mean blowing up in the context of the so-called truth community. If I ever have some content blow up, that's what it'll be. I think me responding to live stream. Yeah, all message. Yeah, why can't I just set a You're right. Why can't I just set an option to only ever do all messages? This thing makes me click like 10 buttons, and then because I have a channel, I'm accidentally clicking on moderation sometimes. Like I'm making people moderators and don't even know I'm making them moderators. It's crazy. Yeah, why does it do that? I don't know, man. I think maybe because in these really fast live chats, maybe that's better for the big channels. But dude, there's not even when there's 45 people in here, it's not like the chat is so fast that you can't follow all the messages. I mean, we got 60. We got actual boomers in here that can keep up with the chat and post really fast. So, shout out to my boomers, by the way. We got y'all ain't really boomers. That's tongue in cheek. Y'all aren't actually boomers. Yeah, Amazon's still the top dog. I agree. Although I think this is starting to change. I think you're going to start seeing that the no questions asked they're going to tighten that up over time. I guarantee it. Because in the past, they wouldn't have given me any problem. They would have just been like, okay, we're going to refund that to your gift card. They would have done it day one. Now they can see that, because what's happening is, I found a YouTube video about this. What happened in the past is people were having their items delayed, and then they were calling up and throwing such a hissy fit that Amazon was just giving them a full refund. But what happens is half the time the item still eventually shows up to their house. It just got lost in the system. So the person actually ends up getting the item. And then and that happened to me one time, but I actually called Amazon. Here's how crazy I am. That happened to me once, and because I received the item, I called Amazon, was like, hey, you guys gave me this refund, but I ended up getting the item, so just go ahead and reverse the refund. And they were like, okay. But that's just the type of person I am, what's fair is what's fair. Like I could probably still get 20 grand for my broken foot, but they gave me workman's comp. They took care of me. Now the medical bills, I don't know. My credit is so bad, I don't even do. As far as I know, all that shit went on my record. I don't even care because I don't use credit and I don't need a credit rating. But I might get mad about it. Maybe I should get the payout just for the damage that's presumably been done to my credit. But I got 700 and something a week for workman's comp for 3 straight months, and then my foot healed normally, even though it was my heel that I broke. Although I don't have pain in it, I have full range of motion, but every once in a while it just has I get a weird sensation in my right heel. So hell, maybe that's worth 20 G's. Maybe I should call one of these injury lawyers. Because as much as I don't like lawyers, they are really good at getting you an injury payout and taking half the money. So the lawyer's smart enough to make sure to settle for 50 grand so he can have 25. Actually, he'll settle for 50 tax free, and then I'll get 25 tax free, and then he'll figure out how to take the rest somehow. All right, no, I'll end up with 20, and then he'll take the rest. That's what'll happen. But he'll be taxed on it to some degree. But if I receive the check, that's all none of that's taxable. So if he can figure out a contract where then I break him off a chunk, yeah, that's how that'll work. It's all a scam, man. The whole thing's a scam. Yeah. Yeah, YouTube is hating, JG. You're right. Yeah, sorry about that, Robin. Well, that's the thing is if I'm on time, I'm late because I almost always start early. So if I've gone past the time, something's gone wrong. But thankfully, it wasn't my safety. It was trying to deal with Amazon delayed me, and then I didn't realize how much farther it is to my fuel stop. So I actually my estimations of when I would be where I was going to be were off. So I found it's too annoying to try to live stream when I'm on my way to pick up a trailer in Dallas and then on my way out. So I actually rolled out about one a.m. About a 1 a.m. start approximately. But I like these runs. Hopefully my company has figured out to just that I don't mind time off and just let me do my thing, and it's working for me what they've been having me do here lately. So now the only mystery is, will New Mexico inspect me for the fourth time in 2 months? So I've had a total of 6 inspections as a truck driver, and literally half of those have occurred in the last 2 months in New Mexico. Just crazy. But I passed them all, and my company gives me $100. Although I'm wondering at what point are they going to cut that shit off? They're probably going to start to think that I'm intentionally pulling in there and asking for an inspection. Like, no, man, they're really inspecting me. And in fact, tomorrow I'm going to delay. I'm going to delay what time I go through that port of entry just to see if that maybe if I roll through there about 6 a.m. maybe it'll be less likely that they try to. Maybe the traffic will be a little heavier. I think part of the problem is I'm like the only one going through there during that time period. New Canada, what's that? I don't know what New Canada is. New York, Seattle, Washington State, Montana. No, I've been to Montana. Yeah. Yes, JG. I've been there. I didn't really. I mostly just passed through it. I've never been in a truck, but I actually had a car. I drove all around the country in my car and passed through Montana. I'm sure it's pretty cool if you stop and check it out, but I mostly just passed through. One thing about the Arkansas plates, every once in a while, these cops out there in the middle of nowhere would try to target me. So I had the cops. I saw a cop busted a U-turn on the interstate and tried to follow me, but I just called their bluff and I just pulled over. I took an exit, pulled over, just parked in a gravel parking lot, and just got out of my car and just stared at them. And they kind of looked at me funny and just kept going. I was like, yeah, I know what you're doing. I know you're wanting to pull me over and try to search my vehicle after following me for God knows how long to see if I'll commit some kind of bullshit traffic violation and get all flustered. I was like, I'm not playing your game, cops. I just pulled over and got out and looked at them. And that was back when I was a little more physically intimidating. I still had my muscles back then. So, not that, they were scared of me necessarily, but I certainly came across as a very serious person back in the days. And that was the peak testosterone levels also. 1106 nanograms per deciliter. I've been truck driving since 2018, fake defunct, and I've hilariously in truck driving, your experience begins to expire because it's a hamster wheel they try to keep me on. So I think I'm getting pretty close to 3 total years of valid truck driving experience. But I started truck driving in August of 2018. So hell, I guess that's damn near 5 years now. It's funny how time flies. Yeah, incredible. But yeah, because when I quit a job, I usually have enough money that I tend to take several months off at a time. I live in the truck, so and I like I said on the last stream, I don't really consider myself a truck driver as far as like my how I identify. I actually identify as a homeless person with certain issues. I guess that's as close as I want to come to making specific statements, since I am above reproach on paper. I guess we finally ran not JG. I guess we finally ran Mitchell off. So, which is I don't, I'm not really happy to have done that if that's what happened. But he was kind of going off on me one night because I was bragging about being that I'm clean on paper, except for my credit rating is poor. But dude, the thing is, you know, he's probably jealous if somebody's got, if somebody's been in the mental health system and has a mental health diagnosis, and if somebody's been arrested a bunch of times and has, and people, you can, even if you've never been convicted, that some of that stuff does stay on one's background check, right? So, I've got a clean driving record, clean criminal record, and I've never been in the mental health system. So, I aim to keep it that way. So, it's not even worth, even if I was tempted to commit a crime, like it's just not worth it for me to potentially become a criminal. And at one time, I had all the connections that I would have needed to make a lot of money trafficking cannabis from Oregon to my home state of Arkansas. I could have easily made hundreds of thousands of dollars in 1 year doing that. And that would have been me handling every step of the process. I would have been doing everything but actually growing it. And it just wasn't worth it. It was like, yeah, there is a chance I would end up, even if I could hire a lawyer and get out of it and not have to go to prison, the high likelihood I would end up with felonies on my record. It's just not worth it to try to do such a thing. And I knew a guy that I worked with who he distributed cocaine for many years, and he never, he was able to buy some things and accrue some possessions, but when he got busted, it wiped him out. The money he had to spend on his legal defense it took all of his assets, and then he still went to prison and still came out with a criminal record. So it's like, what's the fucking point? If he still ended up with nothing. So he actually ended up worse than he started. So it's like, what's the point? So I would like to think I learned from his example. It's like, yeah, I see an opportunity here. It's just not worth the potential downside. But yeah, had I gotten away with it, I would have literally have made hundreds of thousands of dollars in a year or two, cash money. And there's few people with those connections, personal, one-on-one, face-to-face connections like that I had developed over time, although not for those purposes. But I knew people in Arkansas that paid $4,500 a pound and bought a whole pound at a time and had it mailed to them. It's like, no, I'll just drive this shit here. Fuck the mail. Those days are over. Yeah, Tim Allen. Yeah, cocaine distribution. Yeah, no kidding. Musical's a secret. I could easily save 250 grand in 5 years, and I think that I'm assuming because I don't pry in people's business, but I do pick up some clues here and there, and I know at one point, Musical's a Secret mentioned that he paid cash for a home, and I'm assuming that he saved that money up while he was driving a truck. That's one thing about truck driving. It's a nightmare industry. It's horrible. We're treated like garbage, but dude, if somebody has a work ethic and just wants to work, and especially if somebody's willing to live very frugally and live in a truck, you can save a lot of money in a short period of time. I was in a tent, like, I don't even know, I'm bad with time, but so I would say 9 months ago, and it was maybe shorter than that. I had nothing. I was coming off of and I'm still seriously ill, but I was like in bed for months with a serious illness. I was bedridden. And then from that, I was in a tent panhandling in the fucking 100-degree Arkansas heat, sleeping in a tent, literally. And because I have a CDL and a clean record, all I had to do was go on Driver's Pulse, which is this database for truck driving jobs. I've already got a profile on there. All I had to do was spend 5 minutes updating my profile. I spent another 30 minutes applying to jobs. That was on a Saturday. Monday morning, the phone calls started rolling in. I had a job and I had a Greyhound ticket that day. And now Greyhound sucks, but rental cars have gotten so expensive because of the pandemic. The rental car prices shot up, so they're not going to spend $700 to rent me a car. Now they would have flown me if I'd insisted. I would rather not even fly post pandemic. So yeah, Greyhound bus. They Greyhound bused me to a truck and trailer that was at a Kenworth dealership in Kansas City, and I was picking up and delivering loads uh, before I even made it to the home terminal to do my orientation. I mean, that's where truck driving is at these days. It's so easy to get a job, but that's the main thing. Keep that record clean and keep the medical card, keep the CDL, and keep that record clean. And I'm golden, so I'm all about me at that level. So go fuck yourself, Mitchell. Yeah, I'm necessarily interfacing with the beast system, and I don't personally see any glory in, uh, you know. Now, eventually, I plan to live, not as a corporate slave, but I ain't there yet. So I don't think I am a corporate slave, but the fact is I'm interfacing with the beast system at the level of corporate slavery. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But the fact is, since I have intelligence and I have a will, I will transition out of that. I'm just not there yet. Because I don't intend to drive this truck forever, but I'm going to drive it as long as my health allows, which may not be just a whole lot longer. But we'll see how that goes. I'm hoping at least another year. Hopefully. Oh, but sorry, I forgot. And I've got about $12,000. So I went from $0 and no job to directly into a job, and that's even though I spend a lot of money on food because I have to be on a special diet, and I spend about $800 a month on nutritional supplements, and I still have about 12 G's. So I went from 0 to 12 grand in that period of time. So it's pretty amazing, but part of that is busting my fucking ass, working a lot too, working 7 days a week for months on end. But I don't always do that. I certainly haven't been working 7 days a week here lately. I haven't even hit my recap hours in a while, meaning I'm not even running out my full 70 hour on duty clock for 8 days. But yeah, work ethic is huge nowadays. Uh, if a person can just show up on time and actually work, dude, there's a lot of money to be made, not just in truck driving. And remember, the dead air is a meditation. My heater for the APU still doesn't work, but I thought about getting it worked on. But ultimately, I just don't trust the mechanics at our shop to actually fix the thing. And then if they can't fix it, they're going to want me to take it to a dealer, and then the dealer's going to want they're going to want to have me drop it off, and then it's like, well, am I going to move into a different truck, and then, or even worse, have to move all my stuff out and try to go stay at a hotel and then move all my stuff back in. Since I don't have a car, it's not even worth it. And then we have these new trucks at the yard, these internationals, and they're okay trucks, but they're not near as good as these. I drive a Kenworth, a 2022 Kenworth. There's not near as good of a truck. So I know they would probably just be like, hey, take one of these internationals, which it'd be okay, but I'm still better off in this Kenworth. So I'm try to stick with this. And the AC works, thank God. So that's how that goes. Yeah, it's a very hard life, Freedom Grower. I think if I remember, shout out to Dick, by the way. I think he was in sales or something like that. Yeah, just the driving. Although I will say, Freedom Grower, if you were just in a four wheeler, it's actually it's less tiring. Once you know how to drive an 18 wheeler, it's actually way less tiring than driving a four wheeler. Believe it or not, there's something about being higher up and sort of removed from the traffic. It's just less. It's less energy overall for whatever reason. I can jump in this big rig and do 600 miles no problem. But if I try to do that in a damn dude, bad wreck, bad wreck. Somebody ran off the road and crashed into the divider there. Well, actually not too bad. Not. It's like a medium. That was like a medium wreck. If they were buckled up, they're probably all right. I've seen some crazy fucking wrecks. That's for sure. Sometimes I drive past and it's like, how is that shit even possible? Good Lord. Anyway, good to have you, Dick. Oh, dude, this is a yeah. They've got it figured out as far as comfort. And I've described truck driving as a hamster wheel. The whole thing is designed to pay me just enough money to keep me happy. But it's like they know if they pay me too much, I'll probably just go to Mexico for half the year, which I would still probably do if I could speak Spanish. But I don't have the brain to learn it, unfortunately. Yeah, it's designed to just keep me working. But yeah, the seating position, the seat itself, it's all really well set up. I must say they've got it figured out from that perspective. Yeah, you're right, Dick and her buns. The thing is, I was in Arkansas. He says he'd rather sleep outside without a tent. I agree to some extent, although I do sleep better with something over me. So I used to pitch an A-frame tarp with no, without anything else, but still had that A-frame over me. You like a 10 by 10 tarp. Shout out to Harbor Freight, by the way. Although I think they've changed their dimensions on their tarps. I used to buy these camouflage tarps, these green camo tarps there. And if anybody's curious, a medium duty tarp is just as waterproof as a heavy duty, because I've done a lot of camping. So just so you know, but in Arkansas in the summer, JG, the mosquitoes are too bad. There's no, you pretty much have to be in a tent, unfortunately, because of the skeeters, and they love me. But yeah, so I got to where if I was in the South in the summer, I had Amazon sells a mesh tent for like $40. So I could actually, without poles, I could string that thing up underneath my A-frame tarp. I've got pictures of this somewhere. I'll probably show if I ever get this computer set up. I'll show this on stream at some point. But it's a lightweight setup that works really well. And I don't believe in getting wet, so I at least carry a tarp minimum. But yeah, over time I got tired of carrying a full tent, especially as my body weight decreased over time. JG's joined us. He likes to hang out and just interject as he sees fit. So I'm going to do my best not to pressure him to speak if he's not ready to say anything. I noticed some of the other hosts making that mistake, and I've fallen prey to that at times also. JG's here; he'll chime in if he feels like it. If not, he won't. That's how that works. I'm just trying to catch up on the chat here. Well, and that's one musical is a secret. It brings up an interesting point about. I notice a lot of people because I see a lot of talk in these so-called truth communities, especially these ones that seem to be more, that have had less exposure to the actual conspiracies and the ideas of, a zombie apocalypse and a shit hits the fan scenario. 3 years ago, I was doing a podcast talking about how we're all going to be rounded up and put in camps and all of this. And there's going to be a fucking, civil war. And, the fact is, this is the collapse. You're living the zombie apocalypse. Dude, the supply of McDonald's is going to continue unabated. There's not going to be food shortages. Now, people talk about, the grid's going to go down. The grid's already gone down. It's already happened in Texas. It happened in California because of Enron trading energy. And that was like long time ago that happened. They had rolling blackouts in California based on nothing other than Enron. California had deregulated their energy, and deregulation actually means regulation. So they'd gone to new regs. These energy traders figured out energy trading was a new thing. Enron established the market for trading electricity. I've studied all of these matters. And then the traders became experts in the actual California's regs, their new regs, and exploited loopholes that literally led to the grid going down at various times in California. So the grid's already gone down. So yeah, is that going to happen? Sure it is. It's already happened. Is the financial system going to collapse? Of course it is. It happened in 08, 09. Why wouldn't it happen again? So yeah, and apparently I was watching this guy, Red Viking Trucker. He likes to talk about, he's got a different channel name now, but you can probably find him under that name. He likes to talk about the collapse of the economy, but it's like, yeah, the collapse of the already collapsed system. But he was pointing out that this Silicon Valley Bank is apparently the Fed shut them down yesterday on Friday. So, it's starting to go down. But what I wanted to say about the camping is that, the thing is people are like, oh, buy land. But look, I've camped plenty on other people's land. If the shit hits the fan, if you own a piece of land and you don't have a shack on it or you don't have some kind of shelter, dude, you can bug out to just some random land somewhere, especially if you have firearms. If the owner shows up and wants you to leave, just fucking leave. Like, you don't need to own a piece of property in an actual fucking shooting war, zombie apocalypse, Mad Max. What good is having, by the way, you don't even have a lodial title. What good is a land deed, under the beast system? That's a corporate structure, by the way. Look at titling in this country. Isn't that corporate slavery? So, go spend your fiat on a piece of property and don't improve it and then wait for a fucking Mad Max scenario. I'll do the same thing you're going to do, except I'll know to go to some random land somewhere. And I have the skills to be able to tell, okay, this is land nobody uses. Probably nobody's coming here. And if I just fucking pitch my camp every night, if I decamp in the morning, nobody's going to say anything. How do I know? Because I've done that for months at a time. So what good is, could I find some land to spend my 10 grand on? Of course I can. I would like to think I have better uses for that money.
It's all about experience, man.
Woohoo! I feel like you're making fun of me, but that's true. You know it's right, because you got them skills too, JG. There's something to that. There's something there, man. There really is. Skills in the real world. And being psychologically able to deal with your normal daily life going away, like not being able to get a paycheck that week, not being able to go to Walmart necessarily that week, having to, okay, and I know I can go eat out of this dumpster if I have to. Yeah, it's kind of gross, but if I have to, I know what kind of dumpsters to go to at what time of day that will probably have something I can eat in there. Like, these are all real things, man.
I dumpster dove once, and it was a Domino's pizza, fresh out of the oven.
Exactly. And I knew a guy in Eugene, Oregon, the craziest motherfucker in Eugene, Oregon, and that's saying something. This dude went through the trash all day, every day. He ate everything in the trash that he considered edible, which was damn near everything, including liquids. I only saw the guy throw up one time. I mean, it's like we kind of overblow this idea of food making us sick. I mean, we got pretty strong stomachs overall, I would say. If you have to, you can eat some stuff that's not that appealing if it comes down to it.
Good talk. I'm out of here.
You gone? I don't know what he said. It sounded like he said he's leaving. Hard to tell. Well, he's either here or he's not. I don't. There you go. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Yeah, it's supposed to have strong acid, music holds the secret. But like what we saw with me recently, very recently, is a big part of why I got as sick as I did is because um, I was taking baking soda for my kidneys, and I stayed on the baking soda too long, and it actually altered the pH of it made my stomach acid became not acidic enough, which led to all sorts of problems. So yeah, under the best of health, yes, that's true. It's very true. And there goes JG. Well, at least we know he's still around, so glad he made his appearance. Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah, I'll just drop you off next time, JG. We'll figure it out. But yeah, the stomach acid's a big deal for sure. Just keeping one's stomach acid healthy. Now, the way it's not foolproof, but apparently, if you first thing in the morning, if you put like a quarter teaspoon of baking soda in a small amount of water and drink that, if you burp within like 5 minutes, that means supposedly your stomach acid is normal and healthy. But if you don't burp within 5 minutes, then probably your stomach acid isn't as strong as it should be. But that's a big thing with respect to digestion. Mine's normally pretty strong, so I've been taking this. I forget. I don't know how you pronounce this beta 9 or however you say this hydrochloride, and I can already tell that I'm not going to need to take it for very much longer. But I've been taking one of these capsules every morning, and then I take it one with each meal, one with each of my 4 meals. Hey, Woody in the house. When your rooster crows at the break of dawn, look out your window and I'll be gone. You're the reason I'm a traveling on, but don't think twice. It's all right. Hey, there you go. I like it. Is that a song? Oh, it's Dylan. Okay. Midnight Train to Georgia. Jimbo Khan, what's happening? Good to see you. It's no, it's not. It's not Jimbo. You can. My research indicates, and also my personal experience, you really shouldn't do the baking soda for more than 1 week at a time, maximum. And I knew this, and I did it anyway because I tend to get once I get on a routine, I like to stay on a routine for some reason. So I knew better. I did it anyway, and I paid the price. So there you go. So what I usually do is I wait till my kidneys start hurting bad enough, and then I go back onto the baking soda. You could probably get away with every other day, though. I bet. I'm just guessing, though. Just guessing. But yeah, some of this stuff, when you hear advice repeated, it's really I would suggest that the person research it on their own as well. Sometimes there's these little caveats that get lost in translation. I've been on these Swedish bitter herbs twice a day for quite a while, and I've heard before that you really should do them for six straight weeks and then take 2 weeks off. And I'm starting to see that probably it's about time to take a couple of weeks off from the strong herbs. Let me check in with the old GPS here. See if we haven't passed up Abilene yet. I don't believe we have. Nope, there she is. There's a Flying J just west of Abilene, so I'm going to stop in there and attempt for the second time today to purchase enough Amazon gift cards to order this computer that I already, well, a different one, a very similar model to the one that I ordered and was supposed to arrive at an Amazon locker on Thursday. And most likely, an Amazon worker put it in their pocket and stole it at the warehouse. Bastards. Although I guess they could have just lost it. Yeah, air quotes, lost it. Sure. And that'll be good. That'll be mealtime by the time I get there, so that'll work out. That'll work out. 1 hour, T minus 1 hour. And people don't think about Texas and snow and cold winters, but Abilene gets lots of snow in the winter, and high winds, gets cold as fuck. Not a pleasant place in the wintertime. Abilene, Texas. Oh yeah, baking soda before bed, huh? And strange dreams. I haven't experienced that myself, but and you know we are all a little different in that way. But yeah, that's probably a thing. Oh, was that Woody? Oh, Woody said that. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. I've heard that if one is not a tobacco user, that they can put on a one of those nicotine patches and have crazy dreams. I never have tried that myself, but that's what I've heard. I used to do the lucid dreaming quite a bit. It's not something I'm into anymore for whatever reason, but I read a book about it when I was a teenager and started doing the dream journal, and eventually was able to. It took a while, man, but eventually I was able to lucid dream, which mainly involves. Back then, the book I read, it mainly involved. They said if you read something in your dream, like if you're looking at something written, if you look away and look back at it, it never says the same thing. Like it's always, or like clocks won't give the same time, so you can use those as clues to be like, oh, that's right, I'm dreaming. And then from there, the trick becomes to not wake up. So there's sort of a trick about if I realized if I became too aware of my physicality, I would wake up. So there's certainly a skill involved in being able to do that. So I wonder when people talk about this sleep paralysis, that that's more or less like a lucid dream. But then they're like at a certain point they're just unable to wake up from it. I don't know. I've never experienced that myself, but I was fairly adept at the lucid dreaming. At for a while. Although I was never like fully able to just direct the dream where I wanted it to go necessarily. More just like sort of guide it in a certain direction. Probably now I would just probably want to try to see if I could use it for some kind of creativity, maybe. Well, yeah, and that's a good point. We are all lucid dreaming, and I think that's probably true in a way because shout out to Crazy Horse, one of the greatest Americans of all time, and supposedly his power as a great warrior came from his ability to do what he referred to as he said he could dream himself into the spirit world, but in reality he said that what we think of as the dream world is the real world, and what we think of as the real world is actually the dream world, which kind of makes sense to me. I think that may very well be the case. This just feels very real, but in fact, we may be in the dream world. And when we go to sleep in the dream world, we may actually be going to the real world because isn't that what presumably that's at the subconscious level it's all symbols and it seems like that would be the real world would be the spiritual realm kind of behind the veil of this realm, operating it symbolically for the most part. Although I guess we interpret a lot of things through language necessarily. It's interesting. It's interesting to think about, certainly. And I don't have all the answers, but those are the kind of things I like to. I'm very open minded on those topics. So good stuff. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, the sleep paralysis. There you go. Interesting. JG said he's a better skateboarder in his dreams. That's interesting. Says he did have dreams he was doing tricks years ago that he learned later. That's interesting. Yeah, I'm sure that's probably a thing. Performing first in the dream and then eventually, reaching those levels. I got a cousin who's a high level guitarist, rock, guitarist, lead guitarist. Not he's not in a band. He's got personal issues that always he's such an addict and such a drunk he's unable to actually keep his shit together in the music business. But he definitely skill wise is right up there with pretty much any of those guys. I never thought to ask him about that part of it. Glenn had a dream where Gary Moore gave him a guitar lesson. Wow, and he improved. Yeah, man, there's something to that, right? I mean, I've never had those. In fact, I played basketball. That was my main sport, and I was actually never as good in my dreams as I was in real life. Or like, my athletic ability was actually like it's like I was running through molasses or something. Like I was in slow motion in my dreams, which actually kind of is probably sort of the same thing if you think about it, because it's like if everything slows down, huh? I never thought about it that way. Hmm. Yeah, interesting. And I played in, I wasn't ever much of a musician myself, but I played in the high school band. I don't really remember having any dreams about music. I'm sure I did. I can't recall that being a thing for me. But I was an average musician at best. If you need somebody to fill in and keep a beat, I can play like a drum set, but I'm not very, I'm basic shit. Although for a white guy of my skill level, I am pretty good at syncopation, I must say. Toot my own horn a little bit. when Robin's talking about a DMT dream, and apparently when we dream, I guess some of that has to do with DMT, right? But since it is naturally occurring in the body, but when I actually, the only time I ever did DMT, it was really strange because it seemed to me like after my trip that I had actually dreamed my trip the night before, but whether that was an effect of the drug or not, it was hard to say. And I definitely had some bizarre experiences where, like, I thought something I was sure that something had happened in the real world before my trip, and then when I brought it up to the people that were I was with, they were like, "No, man, that never happened." I was like, "Huh, that's interesting." I don't remember the specifics though, but I was able to see, okay, well, that's probably an effect of the trip itself. Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. The entities, Robin. The entities. Yeah, watch out for the entities. Sometimes I'm highlighting the wrong comments because I can't really see it. I can't read the screen at all where it is. It's too far away. I don't know, Woody. I'm out of the. At a certain point, years ago, I was probably processing a lot of my past bullshit through my dreams. I think so. I actually reached a point where I realized that it was better for me if I just stopped trying to assign any meaning to my dreams. So I've carried that forward where now I don't assign any meaning whatsoever to my dreams. And I don't really know, maybe some people have claimed to be able to interpret dreams and maybe to get some benefit. I just don't really, for me in my life, I don't really think that's a thing personally. So, I'm open to it being possible, but it's not anything I've ever been adept at. I've never noticed any sort of direct correlation between my dreams. I usually have just experienced it as like defragging the hard drive. Like this is stuff that, my brain just needs to deal with this and just for its own purposes. Don't even. This is just what it's doing. I don't think it necessarily means anything, although it could, of course. Hard to say, and that's maybe it's different for different people. Also, I am very intuitive and perceptive in my waking life, so probably I could just get the receive the epiphanies and messages while I'm actually conscious. I would think would be more likely to happen to me than my dream state. But yeah, I tried to read Man and His Symbols, but it's not very well written. I wasn't able to read it, but I believe that's Jung, right? Man and His Symbols, or Man's Search for Meaning. I don't know. There's a couple of different books, but yeah, I think it's Man and His Symbols or something like that. Yeah, I have a problem where if a book's not well written, it's hard for me to make myself read it. Sometimes I wasn't able to finish that one, and I think that's why something like 1984 by Orwell. It's like at least it's well written. There's probably other material on those topics. A lot of topics where it's like there's a book that's famous in ways because it's well written. Well, and just for it's better. I've just found it was better for me to just not even. It's like I'm so analytical. It's like I'm better off not even attempting to analyze my dreams. So thankfully, I don't. My brain has other things to analyze. So it's like I don't even. I just don't concern myself with. And in fact, I don't even. I used to remember my dreams. I would do the dream journaling, and now I don't even usually even remember my dreams. or maybe when I first wake up. But I just don't even, like I said, I don't suppress it, but I also don't try to. I don't really try to analyze or explore. So it's just like I have a moment where maybe I review the dream in that moment, and then I just move on and I'm done with it. I think that's probably what I'm doing. And then when we first wake up, we're typically in a theta brainwave state. So I'm more attuned to trying to use that. I'm trying to get over that initial grogginess because I usually have like an hour to an hour and a half of actual just creativity. And like a lot of times I'll have this like a flowing fountain of ideas I will experience. Not every day, but fairly often. So I'm tending to shift more into that space as quickly as possible for me personally. And some people get that. I guess supposedly we get that in the evening right before we go to sleep, but or right as we're going to sleep. But I guess I do too. But I don't. Typically, I don't get. I don't have my ideas usually morning time, but all throughout the day also. Well, yeah, I had a nightmare when I was in junior high that I still remember. It was so freaking visceral, man. Yeah. Well, I swear, I keep threatening to, but one of these days I'm gonna get a better. This 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 cord on these earbuds is almost long enough, but if I accidentally make the wrong hand motion and forget where the cord is, then the phone goes flying across the truck. Just reading the chat. There you go. That's right. Woody says Orwell was good for adhering to the maxim that a profound thing should be able to be read easily. Yeah, or said simply, rather. Yeah, that's something to that. And shout out to JG's one of his favorites, Bukowski, also very good at that. But yeah, Orwell also wrote some other books. I really like Down and Out in London and Paris, although it may be Paris and London. I can't ever remember the order of the cities, but that's a really good book. That one might be one you might think about checking out, JG, potentially. It's about a lot of it has to do with traveling, but in Europe, back in the mid 1900s, going from place to place in a as a vagabond, uh, what they would have referred to as a vagrant back then. Yeah, I don't know, Tranquil Vortex. That's interesting about sleep. And accidentally, when I went to sleep last night, the truck up front, if you turn the key to the left, it goes into accessory mode, and there's an LCD screen in the back of the truck, and it lights up blue. So when it's in accessory mode, it's lit up blue. So I slept with the blue light all night. So I don't know how good that was for me, but I feel fine now. I'm not able to read much either. Yeah, for whatever reason. Audiobooks. That's most of the books I've read in the last several years have all been audiobooks, which I'm not even really reading, as far as I'm concerned. Excuse me. Yeah, some of these are I can tell are good comments, and I'm just my vision is some days it's sharper than others, and it's just very difficult for me to read that right now. Sorry about that. Just trying to see how long we've been live. If I can find a place to stop, I think I'm going to pull over up here. If there's anywhere to actually stop. I don't understand how this works, man. I'm behind the guy going 68, but then I'm going 72 and I can't pass him. I don't know how that works. Very strange. Now we're getting. It's time for some fruit. See if it helps out my stomach a little bit. Shit, I guess this will work right now. Oh, it's a big drop off though. Sometimes these concrete will tear up the edges of the concrete, tears up the tires sometimes. All right. Break time. I'll be back very shortly. Yeah, hilarious. JG seems to have some eclectic tastes in ladies. Where's my spoon? Oh, there it is. Gonna have some pineapple, watermelon, red grapes, and blueberries. How's my audio? Sometimes when I plug into this mixer, I end up on the
He ends up using the phone mic for some reason. I've never really been able to figure out. And where I'm going today is, this journey today, I don't have to be, there's no advantage to being in a big hurry. So it is annoying driving through the oil fields, Odessa, Midland area. It's like, God, these people can't drive, bad drivers through that area. On I-20 in Texas. Shout out to Misanthropy, by the way. Trying to catch up on the chat. Yeah. Sleeping is not a crime, except it kind of is. It shouldn't be. Yeah, that's probably true. I don't know. Hard to say. I think hanging out on the interwebs, we lose our desire to read. Yeah, maybe. I don't get drowsy myself reading. Just I do other shit now. Yeah, that's the truth, right? I got a hammer, but yeah, basically. I understand you're saying that in jest, but I don't always pre-trip as well as I otherwise could. But I check these trailers now since New Mexico loves to inspect me so often. This trailer's good to go. Hmm. Good idea. Yeah. Lead-filled club. That's a good item to have, right? Very useful. Is Clint dead? Did I miss something? Or just me in general? Like the death of masculinity. He's in his 90s. I don't know how old he is exactly, but he's definitely in his 90s. '92. Hmm. Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, sometimes that's what it is, bro. It's like Benton's just sitting around eating with his mic muted. Let's watch Benton eat. That's great. But yeah, exactly. You're welcome. Anytime. The guy who created All in the Family, Norman Lear, is 100 and he still works. Crazy. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I think maybe I said some things that she found insulting, possibly, but I'm not really sure. It's hard to tell. I say so many things that people might find insulting. It's hard for me to know. I'm pretty sure she dated women, though. Not that, who cares, but I'm pretty sure she did. You know what? You might be right, Woody, because I think I did. Sometimes I think I don't have Tourette's, but dude, I just have to say stuff sometimes. You're probably right. Because I know I pretty much said that at one point. But I mean, it had to be, right? Seemed like, seemed like it had to be the case. Am I really out of batteries for this thing? For my mixer? Am I really out of batteries? How strange. I thought I had extra batteries. Excuse me. There you go. She was pretty good on I know I saw her on a couple of panels, at least once. She was pretty good on them. I don't know what happened. She gave tinfoil the business at one time, Toilet Bowl Earth. He spiraled and rage quit. Rage quit the Discord apparently, but that wasn't nothing. That's nothing new. Shout out to Illumitami and the Rage Stay, by the way. I like that. That's what I eventually did on them when I was still on Discord. I was just fucking stayed. But I'm done with Discord. Discord's not healthy. Not healthy for me, that's for sure. Oh yeah, fruit. My gout's not near as bad as it used to be. It seems like because sometimes I'd get to where I'd have to lay off the fruit for a couple of days, but really hadn't been a problem here lately. This stuff also has anything to do with gout. $72, by the way, for this thing. But yeah, it seems to be the real deal. Way overpriced for what you get. Oh, seizures. No bueno. Yeah, I liked her too. She was cool. I didn't say rug muncher. I don't use that terminology. That was Woody. Woody's being tongue in cheek there. I didn't say rug muncher. Yeah. I don't know, man. I put the clues together over time. I'm rarely wrong when if I observe clues over time and then I come to a conclusion, I'm rarely, sometimes, but rarely. Well, I mean, she lives in Seattle, and her PFP was her and another woman. I mean, just that, those two things alone. And she never mentioned men. I don't ever remember her mentioning men at all. Yeah, that's Woody's term. Yeah. Meanwhile, nobody cares. I mean, I don't think anybody actually cares who she dates. I don't know. I liked her. She seemed cool to me, but what do I know, JG? Oh man. Damn it.
Hmm. Ah, guess I might as well wait 8 more minutes to finish my 30-minute break. Hell, I guess I should have stayed in the back. Oh well. They need to make it easier to switch these cameras on StreamYard, though. All right. Check in with the chat. Probably shut it down pretty soon. I seem to uncharacteristically run out of things to say here, but who knows? Maybe I'll figure something out. Appreciate everybody for being here as always. Yeah. Thanks, JG. Yep. Yep. Exactly. Oh, what the fuck? You seen how much money I need to? Yeah, 128. Okay. All right. I think I'm going to shut it down, folks. Might just keep going, and since y'all are chatting, I guess I'll keep it going since you guys are live chatting. So if I think of anything to say, in 5 more minutes, I can hit the road. Yeah, Woody. If I would ever get around to reading some of your emails, then I bet I would have more to say on the topic. Seems to tie in with the lack of reading these days. Oh, well, I didn't leave yet. I keep threatening to leave, and I haven't. I saw that people were chatting, so live chatting. I'm going to sit here for 4 more minutes. Uh, this thing. I'm ruled by a clock. I'm behaving like a corporate slave. See, I'm incentivized to wait for that 26 to get to a 30. So I have to take a 30-minute break in order to drive more than 8 hours, or I guess technically more than 7 hours and 59 minutes. If I hit 8 hours, I'll be in violation, and violators will be violated, especially with all these inspections they've been giving me. Lord knows they're. Hey, what's up, Christos? Early rising, I'm assuming. Grand rising, as they say. Oh God. Yeah, we'll show you the road, Woody. You never know when there's something to see out there. Well, if there's a chupacabra, I'm probably going to 50-50 odds I'll run it over. No, I don't know. I come up with these things out of nowhere sometimes, and then I don't. It's like that's all I really ever figure out about it. Maybe you'll take that hypothesis and run with it, or theory, or whatever we're calling it, Mr. Woody. But yeah, I'm still here, brother. Still here. But you're welcome. Thank you for being here. Yeah, I need the big help of the big brains to figure this out. Dark glasses. No, I don't know what I'm doing, man. Sometimes it's hard to tell. But since the people are chatting, I figured even if I don't really say much, it doesn't hurt anything to keep the live stream going. And Verizon doesn't seem to care how much I live stream, so I just live streamed all last month, and they didn't seem to give a shit. So might as well. Oh, you were talking about the Jupe. I thought you meant Christos. He was talking about the chupacabra. Yeah, he will phase out as I make contact. That's right. Chupacabra. I think that guy just ran a stop sign. Isn't there a stop? There's a stop. It's a four-way stop. Oh no, cross traffic does not stop. Okay, never mind. 1 more minute. I'm still trying to get my new computer, Christos. Now they're supposed to get it Thursday, and now I guess they UPS'd one overnight or something. But I told them I'm not gonna be there to receive it. They sent it out anyway. The both those. Now they've claimed that they're going to give me a refund, but I'll believe it when I see it. That's what they've said. But actually, silver lining. Here's JG. What's up, man?
Hello.
Hello. Rob Cleveland in the house, by the way.
Switch my way, Rob.
Yeah, there you go. That's right. Oh, Christos was giving them the business in somebody's live chat the other day. I think Paul's. That was pretty funny. Switch the camera. And dang it. There we go. I'm gonna hog the screen here. Maybe. There we go.
That stop sign's tripping.
Yeah, man. Trippy, man. This hill's a little steeper than I thought. We'll get it. Lock the old diff just in case.
It'd be cool, like hopping trains, hopping rigs.
Oh shit! You gonna ride on the bottom or something? Right underneath it?
Nah, just on the top. Just lay down
shit.
on the top of it.
Yeah, you could. Especially on the interstate. Probably ought to turn the headlights on. What do you think? Okay, good.
I might try that one day.
You probably would. I don't think I'll be joining you there, but that'd be quite an adventure.
Can't live life boring, man. Gotta have fun.
Facts. When you headed to Montana, that's going to be sometime in the near future, I'm assuming.
June.
Okay. You got a few months.
I'll probably get back to construction for a couple weeks, save up some money, and go up to Montana.
Okay. You're going to work up there, I'm guessing? Some kind of seasonal work?
I can find work down here, and I guess I could fly out of Miami to somewhere for cheap. Like Miami to maybe Denver, and then take a bus up to Montana or hop a train.
Okay. Yeah, I know for a while you were talking about the train hopping, but you said you'd never been up there on a train. Is that right?
Where, Montana?
Yeah, or you have before?
Yeah.
Maybe I missed. Oh, okay. I must have misunderstood.
Yeah, no, I told you before. I've hopped trains up in Montana, and
oh, I know what it. Okay, it was somebody else had never been, and they were asking you about it. I think that's what it was. Okay.
Yeah, I've been up to Montana and Wyoming and North Dakota.
Okay. New Canada, as you called it.
Yeah, New Canada, Montana. What's up with that Austin Murphy dude? He went off on him pretty crazy.
Yeah, I spazzed out on him a little bit. I don't know. Maybe he'll come back. Probably not.
Why do you think you do that?
Well, that's a good question, actually. Why do I do that? Well, I talked about it a little bit. You heard me talking about it. Why do you think I do that?
I can't tell you.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely have my suspicions, but I don't know how much I want to get into that right now. But yeah, it's somewhat regrettable, but probably I just shouldn't humor such nonsense for as long as I did. So that's probably part of it. I was allowing something to continue probably longer than I should have. Just learn from it, move on, I suppose.
You apologize to him?
No, I don't owe him an apology for that. I do apologize though whenever I feel like it's necessary. Yeah. No, I pretty much meant everything I said. Actually, just the way in which I conveyed it was probably could have been better. But he does need to get his shit together, and he is drunk on the internet. And then he tried to. It seemed like he was trying to stir up trouble after that too, which is that's not cool. Showing his true colors a little bit there.
Well, if you're gonna attack somebody, right? If you're gonna attack somebody and they come back at you,
Well, but he didn't. He tried to go elsewhere and stir up trouble for me. That's fucked up.
If you stir trouble with somebody, man, and they give you a taste of your own medicine if they come back at you.
Yeah,
That's
but he, I guess it's the form he chose. If that was him, I don't even know if that was him doing that, but I'm pretty sure it was.
yeah.
But yeah, in the future, I definitely will be a little more careful about putting myself in such a position to possibly go off on somebody in such a way. So I think I'll apologize to the audience and to me. I don't think I'll apologize to him. Although he was a member of the audience at one time, maybe on that basis. But yeah, the fact is, the internet does not owe. The internet is not obligated to be nice to people. That's for sure.
Well, you were saying I'm stuck, right? So do you still stand with that?
You seem to be. I mean, that's my perception. That doesn't mean I'm right, but you seem like you are
When you say
unable to move forward in your life.
but I have in many ways over many years.
I'm sure you've progressed internally. I'm saying at some point something has to happen externally. I also once lived in the streets and just thought that was just like my preferred way of living, man. But I just don't. Maybe you're one of the 1 in a million that it is, but I just don't. It seems unlikely to me. But what do I know? I'm just some bozo on the internet with some opinion.
Yeah, and people can't see it.
Yeah, you might be right. And ultimately, that's just my opinion anyway, right?
Yep.
So you definitely seem to be making it work for you. So, and you, well, and just getting off the booze is a big accomplishment. It seems to me like you figured it out. So it's not it's not an obstacle for you anymore.
I'd rather be pigeonholed and labeled as stuck than being actually stuck.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, again, it's my perception, but
yeah, I know.
But would you say that it's possible that you may choose to live differently in the future?
I'll probably live how I've lived before. I'll get a room for rent again. I'll be working, save money up, and then I'll get that buck to travel and live how I'm living. I've been doing that for years.
Yeah, that makes sense. I can see that.
I also like skateboarding. Like I like what I like, man. You can't tell me anything.
Dude, I wouldn't try to talk you out of any of your interests. That's for sure. And you still skate pretty much every day, I guess, or?
No, I don't. I don't skate much at all anymore. But I'll get that bug to skate again, and I'll skate for a few months, and then it's like, all right, I want to just take a break from skateboarding and travel and drift around, work. But I'll definitely be I'll be back on my board this summer. I'll definitely be back to skating.
Yeah, so it sounds like you at least skate enough to keep your skills up over time.
Yeah, I look at skating now. It's just like I skate to enjoy skating, right? I always have, but now it's like I really enjoy it more. I just skate by myself. I'll like I was in Santa Cruz, I was in Hawaii, skating parks, skating street spots. Just enjoying skateboarding.
Well, and that's one advantage of the way you're living is you can, you're able to go places where, that are conducive to skateboarding. You're not stuck in just one area. That's good. Yeah, there's certainly some advantages to, whatever we want to call that lifestyle.
I definitely was stuck. You could say I was stuck at one point with alcohol, Like I was traveling, I was, enjoying my life, but alcohol definitely had me tied up.
Yeah, I mean, just from what I can tell, talking to you over the internet, you seem to be doing pretty well, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, I'm doing fine. It's just, other people, they give me problems.
Oh yeah, me too. Yeah, I can relate to that. Yep.
Like I can live, wake up early every day, work out, eat well, be respectful to people, be very cool, but other, people always just try to bring you down. They just try to psych you out, disrespect, play games.
This is
So
true.
I'm try not to feed into that. Try not to feed into these these backbiters, these little crabs in a barrel.
Yep, there's plenty of them out there. So yeah, sometimes I have that problem where I feed into people because I'm trying to give people a chance or whatever, but I shouldn't even it just shouldn't entertain certain behavior. So that's what I'm trying to learn. Part of what I'm trying to learn. Part of it.
I'm trying not to hurt people. I'm trying not to react. People. It's the same shit. Doesn't matter the age. When you're a young kid, people try to play games and they try to make you look bad. And if you fuck them up, you might get locked up. But I'm trying not to be as violent and physical as I have before. But sometimes you got to be violent and physical. So I'm always waiting for that.
Well, I've managed to not have to do those things, but you never know when you might have to defend yourself. That's always on the table.
Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta knock somebody out. I'm on 1%. I gotta get out of here.
Yeah. All right, brother. We'll see you later.
Yep.
But yeah, as far as the Murphy thing, I behaved below my standard for what I would want my behavior to be, but I don't think I did anything wrong towards him as a person. That's I can recognize that with my drinking, dude, there was a certain amount of me putting myself in certain situations and being intoxicated where fortunately nothing bad really happened to me. But dude, if I just was like on the internet, just in a blackout, behaving however, and somebody went off on me, like, I don't know that I would blame them for that. It's like, well, I was the one who was drunk on the internet. I would literally think, like, what did I do to cause that person to react so forcefully? Not that they can necessarily cause me to react forcefully, but I would still try to figure out what was my part in it. I think a big part of what annoys me about those situations is, because I reacted so strongly, sometimes that can just sort of let the other person off for their own bad behavior. But, then I think, as Tommy's pointed out, although maybe not in reference to that, it's like, it's kind of up to me to just not, ultimately I was wrong for humoring his behavior in the first place. But since he's a likable person with a likable personality, I think sometimes it's easy to overlook what is actually bad behavior. Now, did I behave poorly? Sure, of course I did, and two wrongs don't make a right. But at the same time, I don't think that also makes him some aggrieved party either. And, probably on some level, he probably needs to hear that. I mean, I don't think that makes it appropriate, but am I really his friend if I'm just letting him come on here and just, his life is obviously in a shambles, and he's just going to come on here and be treated like he's doing, like he's some great person doing well? I mean, it's just not reality. But yeah, the strength of my reaction was certainly seemingly out of nowhere. I get that, and it makes me look foolish and look bad. But as far as it being directed at him, and I am getting better at not directing. And that's one thing when I was in the streets, I got way better at getting into that state, but then not necessarily directing it at an individual person. That could very quickly become an actual crime. So, I guess what I would say over the internet is, for me, with the, removing the element of I'm going to have to worry about it being arrested for it, at least in this country, probably that's just not the way to behave. So in the future, if I have such a strong emotional And really, I shouldn't be that emotional anyway, ultimately. But if it ever does happen, and hearing it played back on your that helps. That obviously helps me to frame it in a certain kind of way. But yeah, I was definitely wrong for how strongly I reacted. I was wrong for that, but for directly communicating those ideas to another person, I don't think that was wrong because that was more or less all true as far as I can tell, more or less. But maybe I'm just rationalizing. It's hard to know, right? I'll figure it out eventually, but it's regrettable in that probably somebody got ran off who. But I mean, I don't really want him here. Honestly, I don't want him here drunk all the time. I just don't. Same with Jeff P. Like I had a good conversation with Jeff Heiser, especially that stuff about his dad. But dude, I just don't want people who are drunk every time they come on. Like every once in a while, sure. Although I guess we're going to make an exception for EBT, who does seem to be able to hold his liquor for whatever reason. He's a made man, so I guess he gets to do whatever he wants. Show me a human, I'll show you a hypocrite, right? But meaning me in this scenario. But I don't know. I mean, it's hard. I'm the type I apologize. I give specific apologies when I'm wrong, which that's already a rare thing. But if I don't believe I'm wrong, I'm not going to apologize. So I could certainly apologize for the manner in which I conveyed my message. I could apologize to him for that. I wouldn't be able to apologize for the content of what I said because I absolutely believe in what I said to him. But yeah, I guess he could get like a half of an apology. I never even apologized to Tin Pool for going off on him, although I would apologize. That was just wrong. But yeah, so maybe in the future, it took me a while to see it. So maybe in the future, something about Abilene, they love to do that. They love to shoot across the nose of the rig for some reason and then take the exit. I swear that happened the last time I came through here. Very strange. Is there a military base here? Probably some drunk service person. They're known for their drinking, right, Mr. Murphy? It was nice of JG to call in and extend the broadcast. Let me check in with the chat here. That's good. That's good, Woody. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah. Well, and then the strength of the reaction is me not being able to deal with my own bullshit because I let the resentment build up, and then probably connects to some of my own issues. Obviously, I mean, I don't. It wouldn't take much of a psychologist to figure that out. Some of that was I was actually sort of talking about myself in a way, but I just it's not why should he again? There's nobody's entitled to just go on the internet and just everything's fucking sunshine and roses. Like that's just not what the internet is. It might treat you nicely and be nice to you, and then one day be mean to you. Like that's just kind of what the thing is. But still doesn't excuse me. But dude, don't drunk interneting probably not a good idea. I've done plenty. I've done plenty of it. I know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I think the old gallbladder. I think it's going to heal in the long run. I really do. It's just it's going to take a while. I think eventually everything will be fairly normal, except the kidneys will act up every now and then, and the old pancreas will be what it is. But I think eventually most of this other bullshit will resolve itself. Well, 10 more miles till the go in, run in, and grab the Amazon gift card and order my computer. Oh, that's the lane departure warning, Christos. Every time when I go off the road, it beeps, or if I follow too close. So that was probably the computer. There's a sensor in the bumper, and it decides that I'm following too close. It also has adaptive cruise control, so I can just set the cruise control, and the truck will drive itself, at least as far as it'll keep a certain distance away from the vehicle in front of me. So these even just a normal truck nowadays has some ability to drive itself, but in a very limited capacity. Yeah, that the beeping was probably the dashboard lights up and beeps at me for following too close. Although I don't tailgate. It's just in traffic sometimes I get closer to vehicles than what the computer wants me to get close. It lacks my discernment. We Free, shout out to We Free. Truck stops. Actually, almost nowadays, almost any retail business that sells gift cards has Amazon gift cards, except of course for Walmart. So, yeah, pretty much buy them anywhere but Walmart. Since I need to be able to pull in the big rig, I go to truck stops. And in fact, for some reason, some of these you used to be able to get an Amazon gift card up to $500, but for some reason, these truck stops, they only go up to, sometimes they go up to 100, sometimes they go up to 200. Well, I needed to load $330 is what I needed to load. There's your 33 code. But I was able to buy one card for 200. But then I think probably I'm guessing because maybe some of their employees have pulled some scams maybe in the past. When I tried to buy the second gift card, it told me no. So now I got to go. The system refused to sell me the second gift card. So, and we all kind of live based on what computers allow us to do, right? Now I'm going to go to another truck stop. And by the way, this is only because Amazon, I bought a computer from them, a mini PC, and they failed to deliver it when they said they would to an Amazon locker in Dallas-Fort Worth on Thursday. And then because it's not possible to just talk to a human and say, hey, I'm a long haul truck driver. Even if you send out a replacement for the one that was most likely stolen by an Amazon employee at the Amazon facility when it arrived from Pennsylvania to Texas, well, even if you send out this replacement next day, overnight via UPS, I'm not going to be there anyway. So, and I'm still attempting to get a refund from Amazon, but I have enough money. I'm just going to go ahead. I need a computer. So I'm going to have it shipped to an Amazon locker where I can pick it up tomorrow in Arizona. So that's what I'm about to stop and do real quick. I'm trying to do that as fast as I can, though. But just once I stop up here, I'm just going to jump out. I'm going to try to get all this done in about 5 minutes because I already took my 30-minute break. No need to dilly-dally. No other reason to stop. The reason why I do gift cards is because, like, sometimes the trucking company switches up, like they'll change their mind at the last minute and they'll need me to do something different every once in a while. So, like, it happened to me recently where I had made an order, and then, like, literally 5 minutes later, my company calls me and needed me to do something different to help out some other drivers. So then when I go on to cancel the order, if they've already charged my card, which they had in this case, then it takes several days to get the money back from Amazon. So if I buy gift cards, then if I have to cancel the order or even if they have to give me a refund, I can get the funds back way quicker if I do a gift card. So I just don't like having that. I don't like to having the money on my debit card tied up where I can't use it. So that's why that's happening. Let's see if I got enough. Well, probably don't. Yeah. I was debating on passing this truck, but I'm about to take the exit, and then now I see there's a bus coming about 80 miles an hour, so I might as well just go ahead and back off. Probably some rock band tour bus or something. Late for a show, perhaps. It's getting it pretty good. Of course, it's Texas and it's 75, so they can go 80 and probably not have to have too many worries about getting pulled over. But I would have just barely got around this guy anyway. Half a mile from the exit now. And I don't usually park at the fuel island this time of the morning. It's getting to be peak time, but I see a few open spots, and I'm not going to be there long enough to inconvenience anybody. That's one of my pet peeves when drivers clog up the fuel islands and they're not fueling, and then especially when there's actually parking spots, which there probably is right now. Unless I see one I can jump in real easy, I ain't gonna be here long enough to need to park. Oh, maybe all the lanes are full now. Yeah. Okay, we got one. The one on the very end is open. If I can get in there. Yeah. And I'll pull through to the front so somebody needs to, they can still get fuel. Damn. Oh, buddy. Just about fucked up. That's why one must always watch the trailer in their mirror, because I might not have hit the guy, but it would have been a close one. That trailer of that car hauler would have been a little too close for comfort. So I'm starting to finally get to the level of skill where I don't have to watch the trailer all the time, but I still tend to anyway. Anyway, be right back, guys. Won't be long. BRB. Unless the line's long. Hey, it's pretty sky. And I'll be back real shortly. I gotta do this on this phone here. I'm gonna order this bad boy finally. Yeah, Bo. All right, computer ordered. Yay! Now, if Amazon will give me my refund, everything will be well right with the world. One moment, please, and we'll be hitting the road. All right, I'm muted, but I finally figured out that I was muted, so I've been talking. But yeah, like a doofus. Oh well, that never happens, right? What's up, man?
Yeah, I want to make sure I hopped on before you fully hopped on the road there.
Yeah, thanks, brother. Yeah, I
Uh-huh.
would have figured it out eventually, but Lord knows how long that would have taken. So,
Uh-huh. Yeah, all good. That's hella funny. Yeah, man. I'm allegedly melting DMT crystals right now.
oh well, that's allegedly fantastic. Excellent.
Yeah, I have this vape that my cousin gave me a while back, like 2 Christmases ago. And our older cousin made it, and then one of the younger cousin that's my age that I hang out with more gave me one. A couple of different people that are cool like that in the family that the older cousin knows are down with this type of stuff. Got some free half-gram DMT carts, so it's a beautiful
Wow.
thing. I've used up almost all of it at this point. Like over a month ago, I was using it with a buddy, but uh, there's still some residue in here. The thing is, I've held on to this cartridge for so long that the the uh, the concentrate, the dab, the wax is like hardened and crystallized. But my cousin told me that to deal with that, he just held up a lighter to the casing of the cartridge, and it will melt the crystals, and you'll be able to vape it correctly.
Wow.
So I want to make sure I don't let all this, uh, hardened, crystallized DMT go to waste. Someone told me I should dab it, but I'm not sure how I feel about that. I don't dab
Yeah, I don't know
anything.
either.
I don't work with oils and concentrates for real. Like I don't even vape. I'm against vaping actually. But if I'm gonna be able to get DMT through vape form, I'll just bite the bullet. But I don't. I used to like vape THC with these cartridges that people use all the time from dispensaries and whatnot. And then there's the scare on the streets like over 2 years ago about them. And just in general, nicotine vapes or weed vapes or whatever.
Oh yeah, the popcorn
I'm
lung
not
or
about
whatever.
it. Yeah, I think that was overhyped, but I
Yeah,
feel
I'm
like it's
sure
a
it
real
was.
thing. The thing is, there were a lot of people like smoking things that weren't legit, and were like really being poorly made, and so I get it. Uh, but just in general, like we're already seeing the studies, I think, and there'll be more with these nicotine vapes and weed vapes and everything. Just like smoking is healthier than vaping, actually, in many ways.
Yeah, that's probably true. I'm guessing. I think with the people
Oddly
who smoke
enough.
actual cigarettes, most people smoke cigarettes with all the chemical additives. That's probably the
Yep.
getting off the chemical additives is probably a good thing with the
Yeah,
vaping.
that's the main problem, right? That's where I guess smoking gets the worst rep is because yeah, cigarettes.
My second wife was a smoker, and I eventually convinced her to come traveling with me. And eventually, we were so broke that I started buying like these big bags of just tobacco. They call it pipe tobacco, but it's actually for rolling your own cigarettes. And then
Yeah.
somebody gave us one of those big metal machines, so we were. I actually at one time had a business where I was just making my own cigarettes, stuffing them in the tubes and selling them, stuffing
Oh,
the
that's
tobacco in
cool.
the tube. But I noticed when she smoked Pall Malls, and when she started smoking those roll your own, she went through a withdrawal from those chemicals. I could tell.
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah, she was
interesting.
definitely withdrawing off those chemicals. But a lot of people preferred the roll your own. They would buy them from me even if they could afford to buy them in the store because they liked it because it wasn't natural obviously, but it was like closer to natural than what whatever they're buying by the pack at the store. Other than maybe the American spirits, but that's not many people are going to spend that much money necessarily.
It's interesting that you bring up American spirits. That's the only stuff I ever for real smoked.
Yeah, I used to work in gas stations a lot, so I pretty much know all the cigarettes, even though I don't smoke. And now the government won't let you call them lights or ultralights anymore. So I feel bad for some of the younger folks that all the old people are like, they want Marlboro lights, but then if the person doesn't smoke, it's like, well, what the fuck is that? You know?
Right.
It doesn't say lights anymore on the package.
Yeah, little things like that.
And then the government has announced, like when Obama was president, the government threatened to ban menthols, but then they've announced under Biden that they're going to do it. But they said we don't know when, but they've announced that they're going to ban menthols.
Another crude exercise in power.
Well, have you seen that some countries are starting to say if you're born after a certain date, you'll never be able to legally buy cigarettes?
What the hell?
Yeah, they're phasing it out. So it's like the old people are grandfathered in, but like they just set a date where it's like if you're born after this date, then you can't legally buy cigarettes ever. Yeah.
Yeah.
And certain states are talking about, well, now certain U.S. states are talking about doing it. But yeah, they'll still smoke. I mean, they'll still be able to get cigarettes. I don't know. It seems kind of silly to me.
As long as people can still smoke real, actual tobacco outside of these cigarette companies, that's all that matters.
Yeah. Well, hypothetically, I don't think they would be able to buy that either. But there's always a way around.
That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Are they just gonna get rid of tobacco completely? I understand cigarette form, but like,
Yeah.
people should still be able to roll their own shit.
I don't know. That's interesting. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't think about the roll your own, but and you know, I think there'll always be a black market, obviously, but yeah, it's interesting. I'm not really sure.
That's fucking dumb.
Oh yeah, of course. What's the government? What do you expect? I mean, you know, marijuana is a Schedule 1 drug. It's, you know, literally considered, you know, to be worse than methamphetamine by the federal government. Yeah, like really.
I forget that type of shit. Yeah.
Because you know, sometimes people start talking about, oh, you know, the feds talking about the feds legalizing marijuana, and I'm like, look, nothing can happen until they reschedule it. As long as it's Schedule 1, you can't make it legal. That's the first step. It has to be removed from Schedule 1. Until that happens, nothing else can happen federally.
Yeah, and we got these dispensaries everywhere now.
Oh yeah, Oklahoma, man. Oklahoma's such a conservative, supposedly such a conservative state, but dude, that place is just, they're everywhere in Oklahoma. It's nuts. Especially, you know, there's not that many people that live there, really. All these little towns have multiple dispensaries.
Mm-hmm. I have like
So
3
even though
dispensaries right behind me, right where I live. Yep.
I forgot what state you're in.
Missouri.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's a relatively new thing there, right? Somewhat.
Yeah, it was like medical for a year, and it just became recreational recently.
Oh, that's right. Okay, that's right. Yeah, that's the way to do it. Because I'm from Arkansas, and by the time they finally got around to medical, I was like, I don't know why they don't just skip to rec. I think it's stupid to even do the medical. We're so late in the game.
Yeah, right. Mm-hmm.
Just go ahead and go rec. But the prices are still kind of high as far as I'm concerned. I'm not into those high ass prices.
Yeah, and some GMO ass stank ass weed too.
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
My buddy and I have become like weed supremacists. Well, not him, because he still buys dispensary weed, but I get homegrown stuff all the time now, and I've gotten used to it. So I'm a little spoiled when it comes to real weed, real organic quality homegrown weed. A lot of homegrown stuff, if it's done correctly, will be way better than dispensary.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and with my traveling around the country and spending so much time on the West Coast, I've had plenty of, you know, top quality cannabis for sure. And it's absolutely a different thing. But does anybody even, the concentrates are such a thing now. I think a lot of people aren't even fucking with flour that much anymore.
Yeah, I don't like that either. That shit's weird. I know some people like that. Yep.
I mean,
That's just
dude, I
lame.
like,
I don't want to ever
yeah.
be one of those people. I
Oh,
don't
I
need
like
to
flour,
be.
but it's like, dude, if you do a bunch of dabs all the time, it's like, I don't know. To me, and I have a high tolerance. Like I tend to do a lot, so it's like, sure, I'll just go to the dabs.
You know what? Yeah, well, I had a dabbing phase in 2021, the beginning of 2021. You know, I need to recreate that shit because that was a really fun time. I was doing a lot of different things, and one of the things I was doing was I had like just gotten back into weed after taking all of 2020 off. I took like a good, somewhat over a year and a couple months away from like any cannabis because in 2019 I did so many psychedelics in 1 year that I started doing DMT and mushrooms like way too close together. And I think it super unlocked my mind. So when I smoked weed, it would make me feel like I was having like a bad acid trip. Like I basically threw myself into some type of form of psychosis, it seemed, where I couldn't do any more psychs because I had done so many of them and overdriven my mind. And when I would try to smoke weed or eat weed, even in small amounts, it would really mess with me and it would make me feel like the people out there that say they can't use weed because it makes them paranoid and shit. Like I finally understood what those people were talking about because the way I would feel from it would just be so horrible. I'd be like having visions and it was like in spiritual terms I had like a Kundalini awakening and I wasn't ready. I basically like blasted open my third eye to the point where I almost felt like sober everyday life was like the trip. Not in a bad way.
Yeah,
It's not like
yeah,
I'm seeing shit. It's not like I'm seeing shit. But if I try to smoke any weed and I close my eyes, I'm gonna see some weird shit. And so I couldn't drink caffeine. I couldn't smoke weed. The only thing that seemed to not mess with me for real was alcohol. And I just started drinking these hard ciders um, for a couple months, and then I forgot to mention kratom was messing with me too. I couldn't do kratom either. All of these, like, I basically couldn't do anything because I'd done so many psychs and like had some type of Kundalini awakening. So after a couple months, the one thing that started to feel okay to my body again was kratom, and that's when I started getting back into kratom for real in 2020. So anyway, 2021, after taking like all of 2020 to do no weed and I was only doing kratom, my tolerance was like basically back to baseline, like fully reset. And I just remember I started smoking again with friends and whatnot. Before I knew it, it didn't take me long at all. I was dabbing. So like I hardly worked myself up to the dabs too. It was hilarious. I just dived right in and with a low tolerance. And
oh yeah,
I guess the last thing I'll say is I guess maybe that's because the first time I ever did weed was through a dab. First time I ever smoked weed was actually dabbing it. I
wow.
dabbed before I smoked, so that's something. I tend to forget that. It's funny to think of. But yeah, I used to be a big dabber. I got into the whole phase of it, and I'm glad I don't do it anymore because it's too harsh. Like if I'm gonna do it again, I need to get like an electronic rig where I can see what the temperature is and I can know how hot it is, so I'm not doing things that are bad for my health by overheating stuff and getting like the traces of metals based off of if I'm using a nectar collector or something. So there's a lot that goes into it. If you're gonna dab, you want to like be able to do it the most health efficient way.
Yeah.
But yeah, dabs for the win.
Well, I mean, I would just say like it doesn't have to be dabs, but dabs are fun. But I like if I just went to the store. Like last time I went to the store, I just bought a bunch of Rick Simpson oil and a bunch of vape carts. So I just eat. I can eat Rick Simpson oil and just do a bunch of vape carts, and I'm good to go. And it's pretty convenient too. Just don't
Rick
get the
Simpson oil is awesome.
Oh yeah, I love it. And I love edibles, man. I do really good on edibles. So. And I like to get fucked up. So it's
Ooh,
obviously a good way
edibles.
to get fucked up. Yeah.
Yeah, for real. Wow. The one thing about edibles I will say is, you can definitely break a threshold where, um, a couple hours into the amount you've eaten, if especially if you've eaten multiple through over the day, like from morning to lunchtime and afternoon. By afternoon, you're gonna be slumping out if you started with edibles in the morning.
Oh
Uh,
yeah, definitely.
that's
It's
the only
yeah.
thing, fucking passing out, basically
Oh
slumping
yeah,
out.
absolutely. That's part of the fun. Yeah.
Right.
Oh, I've done them all day, every day for like weeks on end before. It's great. Love it. Good I think it's good to do that every once in a while. That's some relaxation right there. But also,
Yeah.
very high also, right? So
Yeah, you gotta definitely know what you're doing or like get
yes.
into per se.
Well, and I've told people like there's an easy method for anybody that wants to eat edibles is be on an empty stomach. Whatever you think a dose is, eat half of what you think a dose is for you. Wait a full 45 minutes, and if you feel okay, eat the other half. And you can never go wrong that way. But so many people just they get impatient and they wait 15 minutes and nothing happens, and then they eat way too much.
Yeah, I like that. I like
And
that method.
the empty stomach with 45 minutes, that will work for everybody. That's not going to be a
I
problem.
agree. I
Yeah.
agree. Yep.
Because probably
Empty
whatever
stomach.
you think is a dose, but you're making yourself wait the 45 minutes. You're not going to get 20 minutes into one dose and then double what's one dose, right? That's what people do is they eat the right amount, they get impatient, then they eat twice the right amount. Like, no, don't
Yeah.
do that. Don't do that. But you
Right.
still,
Yeah. Hmm.
if you eat half and then you wait 45 minutes and eat the other half, you still get just as high. It just takes a little longer. But you'll still get every bit as high as you would if you'd eaten it all at once.
Yeah. It really says a lot when people can't wait 20 minutes,
Well,
20
I'm
to 30
45
minutes.
though. I'm 45 full minutes to be fair. But yeah, 45 minutes on the clock. But yeah, I'm telling you, man, you can never go wrong. I've almost never had a bad experience with edibles. One time I had some crazy visuals and then I went to sleep like when I wasn't planning to go to sleep. But
Hmm.
other than that, I've never had any problem. And I stick to that rule to this day.
That's good. It's just like if you're gonna take a psychedelic, you gotta do a timestamp. You gotta check the time.
These people don't want to pass me. They're blocking me in. So I'm trying to let them
Oh,
know that.
okay.
Yeah, it's this guy up here. Can't tell what speed he's going to end up going. So at the speed he was going, these people were blocking me in. For some reason,
Ah.
people love to just hang out. I don't really never have figured out why that is. But
People
yeah,
love to hang out.
they do, man. It's
Yeah.
like bizarre to me. And then now everybody's on their phone, of course. So that's a whole nother layer. See, the
Okay.
computer thinks I'm
Okay.
following too close, but I'm really not anywhere near these people.
Uh-huh. Interesting.
Yeah, it looks
Um,
farther on the camera though than it really is. And now I got these morons want to pass on the right. It's also amazing to me. Some people will just follow me, like they'll follow me for an hour, but as soon as they perceive that I'm blocking the left lane, then they'll shoot around me on the right and make. See, this is how a wreck could happen very easily. Like this is how wrecks happen.
mhm.
But it's based. They had an emotion of, oh, these big trucks are blocking the passing lane. But
Yeah.
when I wasn't blocking the passing lane, they were content to just hang out behind me. You know.
I see that. That's interesting.
Yeah, and then
Fun
they don't know
game
how
to
to
watch
drive.
this.
I actually gave it to them. Like they could have easily gotten in front of me if they wanted to. So now it's like, why even do all this? It's like stressing me out for no reason. Which it doesn't bother me because I see it all the time. But it's like, they're literally not conscious of what they're doing. Most of these people are just totally
Yeah.
not even here. They're somewhere else. Most of them.
For real.
Yeah.
So, just so we didn't lose that last thought,
Yeah.
what you're saying reminds me of people looking at the time when they drop acid or when they eat mushrooms. They look at the
Oh.
time with their friends and say, "Okay, this is the time." Remember, it's like it's like dropping a breadcrumb or an anchor, so that later on, when you guys are tripped out of your mind, you can be like, What time did we drop this acid?" And then like you made that mental note earlier, and you remember looking at the
Oh.
clock, and it's like, "Oh yeah, 2:10. It's been
Okay.
how many hours?" Yeah, just so you don't take something and then like it seems that with psychedelics, especially when newer to that stuff, I remember having this experience when I was still new to it with friends in college and high school. But basically, um, you're gonna get to a point where you're so tripped out that like you probably won't even understand time or remember how long it's been. So it's just like a method to ground to reality, kind of tether you to reality to some degree. So when you're tripped out of your mind, you'll at least be able to remember, oh, okay, it was this time when we tripped. So you know how long it's been. You know how long it might, you know how much longer it might be. So, but I mean, that's kind of, that's not like a big thing though. I feel like that's more for people that are like OCD. It's different than what you were saying. It's kind of similar, but it's more of like a OCD thing, I feel like, or wanting to wanting to keep some type of control over what's going on and you know being afraid to get swept away by reality. 1,000 milligrams.
Well, I want to reply to that. When I was in last time I was in Seattle, I bought a syringe of Rick Simpson oil, which they claim is now I never knew if that was by volume or by weight, but it's supposedly a gram. And I could eat half of it early in the day and eat the other half in the afternoon. And I would still go to sleep at my normal time, but I would sleep really well.
Dude, Rick Simpson oil is awesome. I
I love
remember
it.
I was blessed enough to get some from my mom a while back because she had a friend and there was a party going on. This guy came through and my mom had explained how she has back pains and health issues. So dude just gave her a gram of Rick Simpson oil for free.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah, and that wow, that it's so cool the different directions that weed has gone. All the different
With,
things there
oh
are these
yeah.
days.
Well, by the
Rick
way, I'm
Simpson
sure.
oil and the
Yeah.
concentrates.
Well, see, it's probably expensive in Missouri, but dude, it's $20 out the door in Colorado.
Mm.
So it's
Mm-hmm.
very affordable, also, depending on where you live. I could get like in Washington State, you can get concentrates, you can get dabs pretty cheap, man, if you're not that picky.
Hell yeah.
Like it doesn't have to be fucking $50 a gram like it is in some of these states. Like, dude, why get, even if I wasn't working, I'm not going to get a medical card in Arkansas, dude. It's too expensive. They want too much money, man. Is that the DMT? We doing DMT on stream?
No, I tried to hit the uh I didn't want to glaze over what you just said there, but since you brought up the DMT, no, I was trying to hit the vape pen
Oh, okay,
moments
cool.
ago, but I really need to heat up these crystals because I don't know, they're not really seeming to melt like last time. So no, I got a little sensation from it earlier, but like I didn't even get any vapor, so it was kind of just the taste and like the signature resonated with my mind. I knew like I was sensing the DMT, but definitely didn't really get any effects other than kind of like feeling a little awake. But that could have just been because I took a deep breath trying to vape it. So yeah, no, I won't lie. I was considering sprinkling some in the blunt, but I figure that's not efficient. I'd probably just end up burning it by when I'm holding the blunt and there's when it's cherried. Is there
What?
background noise?
Yeah.
I got a fan
Yeah,
going off to the side here.
your mic, it just, whatever your phone does, it gets real staticky sometimes. But I don't know. But
This
I'll
is
tell
what
you
we're
something.
gonna do. Am I coming in?
Yeah, you sound good now, but it kind of goes
Don't
back and
worry.
forth.
It won't be a thing forever.
Oh, good. Yeah,
I got a new phone. I'm gonna put
Oh,
my
okay.
SIM card in. You're good. My bad.
Nice. I just ordered a computer, by the way, a little mini computer on
Yep.
Amazon.
I don't have
So,
Wi-Fi right now, so I would be on my computer. But yeah.
yeah, I'm just gonna do. I've got a little hotspot for T-Mobile, but eventually, I'm just probably gonna do the Metro by T-Mobile. They've got, if you get a data line, if you get a voice line through them, you can get 100 gig of hotspot on a separate device for like $50 a month. So I might try to do that. But
Oh, that's
Verizon,
nice.
yeah, Verizon's got good deals on their hotspot, but it's like the devices cost a lot. So I don't know if I want to spend $300 for an actual device, but maybe I will. We'll see. Because once I get that computer, I like to make I like to do live streams where I play other people's live streams and then pause it and respond. So when I get this computer set up, I'll be able to do that again. I used to do that on my laptop, but it kicked the bucket recently, unfortunately.
Yeah, I like that. That's always fun. Restreaming.
Yeah, I love it. And well, even the replays, and I'll pause it a lot and just provide my own commentary. It seems to work pretty well. So watch me drive for a minute, I guess. How about that?
We'll take
Mainly
us
just me
outside.
moving my head around a lot. Oh, I'll tell you something I really enjoy that's fallen out of favor is actual hash. I like hash a lot.
You like hash?
Yeah, man. Always have. It's kind of pointless at this point, but I really enjoy it. I like hash. Yeah. I guess it's basically redundant, pointless now, but yeah, I like hash.
I like its name.
Yeah,
It sounds cool.
Yeah, hashish or hashes, however you say that.
When you really get into the history of cannabis, there's so many interesting things.
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
All the uses, psychoactive uses as well as like tactile and medicinal, and ointments and oils. All the different forms that we can put these things in.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, making that plant being illegal for so long was just bananas.
Very much.
Have you ever seen the movie Citizen Kane?
I know about it.
Yeah, you might think about seeing that at some point because it's based on the life of William Randolph Hearst, who became very wealthy in newspapers. He owned a bunch of newspapers, and that was always some of that's probably apocryphal, but the idea was that he did not want to use hemp paper because he had all these printing presses and all this machinery and that, so he vilified and then at some point they just invented the term marijuana, right?
Uh-huh.
And so apparently, supposedly William Randolph Hearst had a lot to do with, and that's not in the movie, but it's interesting. The movie, it's considered the best movie ever. Like it's, the American Film Institute that's their #1 movie, Citizen Kane.
Yeah, of course.
And it's about that guy's. It's about that guy's life, who supposedly, among other things, had a lot to do with even hemp being illegal. I mean, it's one thing to say the the psychoactive part is illegal, but just the actual male hemp plant, that's crazy to make that illegal.
Wow, I
That's
didn't know
really
that.
crazy. That's
I
the, I
heard
mean,
people talk
again,
about
if
that movie.
you know whether or not that's true, I mean, that's if you read up on the whole Reefer Madness thing, because he actually newspapers were such a big deal back then, and he had a lot to do. He controlled so much of the newspaper industry in the United States that he was one of the people that could be like, "Hey, I'm not trying to spend all this money, so let's just go ahead and stick with regular paper and then, vilify this plant."
Wow, I didn't know that that movie had to do with William Randolph Hearst and
Yeah, it's based on his life. Yeah, and in fact, there's a documentary about the movie. So, like, there's a certain DVD version that used to come with this. There was a documentary about the movie, and William Randolph Hearst was so wealthy, he almost succeeded in buying the movie and having it destroyed. Like, Orson Welles wrote and directed it. Well, he directed it. He wrote it with another guy, but Orson Welles directed it and starred in it. And he had to go, according to the official fiction. I mean, who knows what really happened? He had to go meet with like the people who ran RKO Pictures and like give this impassioned speech because they were going to sell it to William Randolph Hearst, who was going to destroy it. And it's literally the #1 movie ever, according to the American Film Institute, if that means anything.
That's twisted. Of course it is. That's kind of
Yeah.
weird. That's the #1.
Yeah, and it's a good movie, man. It's one of my favorites. It's a really good movie. It's worth watching.
Okay.
It's you got to have an attention span though. It's back then they didn't worry about keeping you on the edge of your seat so much. Came out in like 1945, so but it's worth a watch. I saw it in college. I took film lecture and they showed it.
So it's like a classic. It's a classic.
Either you're breaking up or I'm breaking up. Might be me since I'm driving.
I'll check.
I think I'm good though. Yeah, you're back. Yeah. I don't know if you're here or not now. I'm not hearing nothing, but I don't know if you're talking.
Mic check. Am I coming in?
Yeah. Yeah, a little staticky, not too bad. What kind of phone are you getting?
I got a iPhone 12 waiting for me
Oh, okay.
right now. This is an iPhone 8.
Ah.
I shouldn't even be using this thing right now, to be honest.
Yeah, I've never
Hey,
been
well, I'll let you go since I'm getting staticky.
All right, man.
Yeah, if you're still live, I'll hop back on maybe. But yeah, my bad about that. It's happening all the
You're
time
all
now
good.
when I'm on StreamYards on my phone. So
Okay.
anyway, thanks, Ben.
All right, man. Yep. Talk to you later. Yeah. See ya. Peace. You check in on the comments here. We'll probably shut it down here shortly. Most likely. I need to eat. I need to eat. Oh, I keep thinking I can click on the other phone to highlight the comments for some reason. Yeah, I mean that's an interesting point about the endocannabinoid system, tranquil vortex, and I think certain people with certain, again, whatever autism is, one thing they've used cannabis successfully, especially cannabis oil, apparently is somewhat effective for autism, and I know like when I was a daily user, like I seem to just need more than other people. And the times when I've tried CBD, like I seem to need way more than like the normal dose. I know one time I bought a tincture of CBD, like when it was first kind of a thing, and I wanted to try it, and I ended up more or less ate the whole bottle in like a day. And it helped. I mean, it was beneficial, but I could tell it was like, okay, I need a pretty fucking heavy dose. It wasn't worth the money at that point. Yeah. I'm still convinced the major therapeutic benefit, though, is the THC itself. So I think the CBD in part is just people who for some reason worry about, oh, I don't want to get high, but then they'll take all kind of, if the doctor puts them on pills that get them high, they don't have any problem with that. If they go, they'll send their kids, maybe not so much now, but they, in the past, they would send their kids to the dentist, and the dentist might put them on nitrous to get them high, laughing gas. Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, and that's the thing is, and I think somebody was talking about this earlier, part of what we think of as this kind of chemical flower, a lot of that is just because it's grown. They're trying to grow this shit for like 35% THC. And, I've smoked some of that stuff and that has its place. I mean, obviously, but like, I don't need to fucking see I don't need weed that's just crystallized like that. And then my favorite weed, as far as smoking flower, and I like to smoke blunts, my favorite cannabis is always like around 17% THC. Like, I'm not ever the type to just be like, give me the highest THC you've got. Because it's like, well, why not just get some concentrates? If we're gonna go that route, it's like, why am I even fucking with flower if I'm trying to get like the strongest flower possible? But yeah, the cannabis I usually like, the flower I like to smoke the most is usually ends up being around 15 to 17%, which back in the day would have been just your higher end stuff, presumably, depending on what part of the country one was in. But anyway, I think I'm going to shut it down. I need to eat and veg out for a little while. So I don't know. I guess Z's live, so I forget sometimes I'm overlapping with Z, and that's not my intention. But I'm glad, based on the single digit numbers, I'm glad folks are feeling free to just go over there, because that's what I would prefer anyway. So, and I'll probably go check him out if he's still going. So thanks for watching. Bye.